Welcome back to the channel. Now in this video it's going to be quite exciting because Dan is arriving out on site today, just dropping off all of the components that he's been making, and we're going to be putting the trusses together. We're going to be putting them together here, down here, and then when the crane comes he'll position himself and they'll get lifted in one by one. Of course it's not really that safe to do it in situ, so that's the plan. How are you doing, Dan?
Good, yeah, all good so far. So far so good.
So it's kind of like at this point of the job where I have to hand over to someone more qualified. So
yeah, we're doing 2 stages. So quite like to do 1 day of preparation, delivery, layout, make sure everything's good, and then so when the crane does arrive, we're just ready to rock and roll really. So if it's raining, it's all nice and safe, and we can then just erect the frame. So yeah. So that's it. We're going to be in the next few days. We're going to have in this place look ship shape, aren't we? Absolutely.
We better get it off then, mate, innit? I'm working for you now.
Yeah, let's go.
So we're unloaded. This is the first delivery today. Dan's gone back to get the rest of the components so we can start getting it all together ready for a little crane that's going to come. So access is a bit hard here. That's why Dan's coming up here with his trailer and his 4-wheel drive, and he's doing a really good job. And what I'm going to be doing today is putting some protective plastic sheeting around the inside of the building just to keep any rain off while I've got a bit of time, getting my scaffold set up and getting it all ready for putting these trusses on. So I'm just using typical damp proof membrane, the stuff you buy. It's about 60 quid a roll. You get 100 square meters on it. It unfolds to 4 meters, so I've cut loads of sections which are high enough for the internal stud walls. I'm going to chop all this batten up small and then just go around screwing it up just to keep the rain off this nice dry OSB. As I said before, it'll take the rain OSB, but it's nice to get your work in the dry. So yeah, I'm going to get on and do that, and that's a good bit of preparation. Yeah, it won't take me long to whiz around and get all of that up. I just think it's good form. So, how are you feeling?
Bit rough today.
Yeah, you sound like you've got a bit of a cold.
Pre-Christmas cold, but onwards and upwards.
Yeah,
you know?
We have the children to blame for bringing them in the house.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but no, onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, start assembling the trusses today.
Yeah, so we're going to stick 4 together on the ground, aren't we?
That's right.
And then the crane will arrive tomorrow.
Pick them off with the crane as we need them.
Brilliant.
Working from left to right. So when I do it, we go number 1 on the left and then number 4 on the right.
Yeah.
Just because they're individually measured, and then we know where we are then. So, but yeah.
Yeah, you got all your tools, all your bits and pieces. You have a mortise machine here, just in case.
That's it, just in case there are any hiccups. But they've been prefabricated, so that should be absolutely fine.
So you've had them all together already?
All before.
Okay.
They're all labelled.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't have any problems at all.
Great.
We'll just put them up tomorrow, which should be quite a short process because obviously we've got the crane. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'd be nice. Let's just hope the weather stays on our side. I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. It's going to be mild actually. It's sort of mid-December and it's going to be 12 or 13 degrees today.
Yeah. But it's always worth keeping an eye on the weather because it's just all about safety at the end of the day.
Of course it is. Right, show me some of your toys that you've got over here then in those boxes.
These are the podgers that we use to put, they act like a dowel, a temporary dowel, and they're tapered and they're stainless, which is very important with the oak because if they're not stainless you're going to get blue marks.
Right.
So these are stainless podgers, about 400mm long with a nice taper, and they act as a dowel, so then you can take them back out when you're prefabricating the frames. Okay, so you'll use those to just locate the joints, will you? Locate the joints, you can pull lever like this. That'll pull the joint together, we'll take them out, and then we can put the dowels in. Sometimes, if it's a really big lift, you would lift with these because these are stronger than the dowels. Really, yeah. And then you would take these out when everything's in place, but these can take it, so you can dowel these up. Yeah. So these are absolutely imperative to have. I bet they're hard to find. I tried to find some once, but I couldn't find them. These are German made, I got them from a friend. Not cheap, because they're stainless as well. Yeah. Did you make the boxes for them? A friend of mine did. So these are a friend of mine's, which we both use. Yeah, they're really... 3 boxes. And you need quite a few, obviously, if you're framing all the time. Yeah, of course, yeah. And then these are your dowels. I saw you making these in the workshop. These are the dowels, handmade dowels. You can buy them, but I prefer to make my own. So beautiful. Exactly, reusing all the old material and stuff. So you're using everything. So you can dry all your old material and then use that for paint. And you'd use dry material for them, would you? Or dry material. Yeah. So they're air dried, and then when the moisture hits them, they expand a bit more. Oh, and get perfect. A bit tighter. Yeah. And then you can then cut them to length, depending how thick the beams are. Yep. Well, let's get on with it then, eh? Let's go. Remember, Dan, I'm your labourer today. Tell me what you want me to do. Okay, I think maybe get this on the beam trolley first. We'll get them on the stools.
Yeah, okay, mate.
And then we'll pivot one end down, pivot the other end down.
Fine.
And then it's just going to get easier.
I love your trolley though. It's just absolutely perfect, isn't it? Right, going uphill, yeah.
Uphill, just go nice and steady. Okay, to about 2 foot. Okay, to me as much as we can. I think just lift them on the floor now. If we just get a bit of timber, you can go one side.
Yeah, good idea. Right.
Yep. Watching your fingers. Watch your fingers.
Yep. Same again?
Same again. Brilliant. First one's always the hardest because it's obviously on the deck, so that's fine.
Good enough?
It doesn't have to be level as long as it follows the same plane.
Yeah, flat. We want it flat, not
Nice and
level,
flat.
don't we? Yeah.
That's fine.
Fine, Dan.
Okay. Roughly there. See how we go.
Yeah.
We'll set the rafters and then
Yeah.
we can bring the queens in and the collar.
Perfect.
See how we go.
You don't do this on your own ever, do you, Dan?
I do.
Really?
I do. So if you go there, okay. That's fine. We'll leave it all long
Yeah.
so we can get all the tenons in, then we'll push it all back in.
Sounds like a plan.
Copper and hide hammer.
Hey. You might as well give it a whack.
That's fine, we're close there. Brilliant. Same again.
Yep. Ready when you are. Beautiful.
Yep.
That's where we
get
want to
the
be.
queens in and we'll push it all together.
Fantastic. Beautiful. Had to be uphill, didn't it? Yep.
Yep.
With the right way up?
The top mortise, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, if you just locate that one.
Nice.
Cool.
Now we want a couple of legs, don't we?
That's right.
This is proper joinery, this is.
Okay, watch your fingers. We'll just pull that rafter out.
Yep. I'll hold this. Tiny bit more. There you go. Perfect.
Okay,
Substantial, they are.
you look great.
Seriously substantial.
Close.
We're in.
Fantastic, okay.
Great. So we're all up to that stage now.
That's right.
This is the interesting bit. Oh, they look lovely, Dan. Really nice, mate. So what are you going to tap, Dan?
We're going to tap the half lap where you're not going to see.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Tap the cord. Tap that. Nice and gentle. We're just trying to locate a little bit of a hole
Yeah, to pull it up.
with a taper, and then we'll give it a pull.
And then
Start that one. We go the
Yeah,
other
and
end.
it's already come up quite a long way just on that
It
little
has,
bit
yeah.
of, all that bit of knocking. It's mega impressive.
We don't want to knock them through because we can't knock them back out, so they're just locations really.
Yeah.
These.
God, it's lovely the way it pulls it up
Nice
nice.
and tight on the nose, which is very important for the strength. What we'll do, we'll get a bit
Get
of
a
timber
bit
in
of
there.
timber, yeah?
Should be the thickness of the ridge.
We'll put that in the ridge slot. Give it a little tap in there. That's perfect, isn't it? Well, that's going to be a nice tight fit anyway, mate. Now what we doing?
Knocking
that's
down.
That's what we're doing. Let me just keep that mortise there in.
Can always knock in where you can't see. It's very important.
And you can actually feel it just ease together.
That's it.
Mate, this is lovely. Okay, brilliant. I think, and even these tenons have come together. because it can only do that.
That's it. All good.
I think you're near enough there, aren't you?
That's it, yeah. We'll start doweling in a minute. As long as we're happy, the orientation of everything. What you don't want to do is dowel first and then have to take it apart.
It's bloody brilliant, isn't it? Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, that's the first one semi put together. And we've been running this camera for about 20 minutes, so it's takes longer to move them around, obviously. So now Dan's going to locate the farthest extremities now and work in.
It's always important to triangulate it first.
Yeah.
Get those dowels in first and then the rest will follow.
Yeah.
Because they're the fixed points. They're the points we want right for then the common rafters and the softwood rafters.
Exactly. Oh, it's gone together a treat, that. Do you want more pins or not?
I think we're right.
Just dowel it, are you? Or?
Yeah, I think we're sitting pretty. I think we have to rotate the bottom cord slightly.
Bottom cord's got to be lifted. Do you want some shims or you want something a bit bigger than shims?
I think maybe a wedge, a couple of wedges,
Yep.
and then we can control where we're going to...
Should I rip some out of some timber quickly?
Yeah, perfect, thank you.
I'll do something useful then, Dan. Give me 2 seconds. Right, here you go.
Fantastic. Okay, if you just slide it in there, if we just lever this up, again, levers, and we can just... It's about, it's about there. Just triple checking now before we put the dowels in.
Yeah.
All the shoulders are parallel to each other, and that means we're on the same plane. So all the joints are going to fit.
Yeah, so we just knock those little wedges in straight down here to rotate this heavy cord so it's parallel on the shoulders before we dowel it.
Yeah.
It's really important, mate, otherwise the dowels will go the wrong way.
And that's it. And when I do set it out in the workshop, that's all completely level. The top face, that's the thing that I level in the workshop, which is the most important thing, because the beams can be different thicknesses, so that's all been leveled in the workshop perfectly. So that has to be correct.
Brilliant.
Get some dowels on the go.
Excellent.
And we can hand select the ones that we need. They're generally about the same, but they are handmade, so they are fractionally different. Again, tapered is very important. Traditionally, they would be tapered and left long. So you would leave it a couple of years and then go back through and knock them all back in, tighten everything back up until the drying process is then done. So, and with these, we want at least the amount of knots as possible, because obviously that's going to then split. So when you do them, they need to be super clean, and the grain should follow the direction of the dowel, which is very important.
So what are you going to spray them with?
WD.
Okay.
Any form of lard, something that's just going to ease that peg into that hole.
Yeah.
Because you do want it as tight as you possibly can, really.
Yeah, of course.
But then if the moisture's going to hit the peg from the beams, that's going to make it tight, and so
yeah, it's
I use
swell it
WD. It's just something readily available, and I've always got to hand.
It's incredible to think these traditional methods have stood the test of time.
Absolutely.
At the Wealden Downland Open Air Museum, they've got oak structures that have been resited there.
It's unbelievable. It does stand the test of time, which is exciting. Product placement.
There we go, a bit of WD.
About 2/3 up the peg. You don't want it everywhere because it's going to get on the beams, and we do not want that.
Yeah, I see. Fine.
You don't want it, you get covered in it, but just enough. And we're just going to turn them. Again, trying to do things
together,
just speed things up.
And also, you'd be wasting oil if you were spraying one, because it would be going off either side.
Exactly. So line them up, do them all together.
Yeah.
And then it's a quicker process when we put them in then.
Yeah, I like it. I think
and that's a prime example. That was one that got through. Not too bad, but that now really we're not going to use.
Yeah.
Just for safety, it could split, go through someone's hand, so we just put that to one side.
Fine. Good thinking.
Okay, we're ready. And then we're browsing through if there's any big ones that stand out, but generally I've made them, so I know they're pretty much the same.
You're getting this seventh sense after all these years. You just know, don't you?
You know, by feel, really.
Yeah, I know. It's incredible, the skills. So is there a method that you'd do these in? You'd keep your pins in there, your stainless
keep my pins, And then you're not really going to drive through one hole and then go through and keep driving them. Do a little bit of each.
Right.
Make sure it all comes together, then go back round.
Okay, so you're going to do...
Just the way it works, because they're all offset by 2 mil. So this is actually pulling down and this way. So it's actually going to make that shorter. So if you go all this way, that's going to be then more difficult to get in.
So we're doing it in stages, like tightening up the nuts on the car tyre.
Exactly, just in stages. And we're all the time we're looking. I can feel that now.
Yeah, it's beautiful, mate. It just...
And I'm going this way, so I'm just going to make sure.
Oh, Dan, it's the speed you work. It's the confidence that you've got. Now it's going to go wrong, I said that. But and the sound of that with the oil is lovely, isn't it?
And always looking at the shoulder.
I just saw that pull up lovely there.
Always checking the marks.
Guys, I'll tell you what, mate. I have to go pretty quick before following you round. Look at that, the way that
trying to make sure, you know, bang on my marks.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
Again, you can do this close, but this will shrink back historically, so I'd rather have a proper gap rather than big tights.
I'll let you get away with that. That's no problem. Dan, I'll tell you what, mate. This is
close.
Different gravy. There's a lot of people making these with computerized machines which cut your tenons, your mortises, your lengths, your angles, your shoulders. This is by hand.
By hand?
Single hand, that's what it is, single hand. The man's a legend.
Yes.
Right, brilliant. Beautiful, that.
Could use the big one now.
You can feel how hard it is, can you? That oil makes a difference though.
It does.
Think how hard that is. How tight.
Let the hammer do the work.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, especially when you got a cold. Yeah, those shoulders have come together absolutely beautifully, haven't they?
Brilliant.
I think that's absolutely first class. Time for a cup of tea in a minute.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those shoulders on those lines there are absolutely incredible. Just absolutely perfect, mate. That is absolutely gorgeous.
It's come up well.
Yeah, it's come up really well, isn't it? I'll let you have that one. So that's the first truss together now. Dan's just putting the last of the pegs in. And then we're moving on to the next one. We've got 4 to make.
Hardest one's done.
Yeah, it's great, mate. It's really good. So the first couple of trusses are together. Dan's just going through the process of pegging them all up now, using his stainless steel pins to lock everything together. And then he's going to start tapping in his dowels, which are all handmade by him. It's amazing. And the joints just pull up so beautifully. I'm making great progress.
Absolutely. It's only going to get easier now, hopefully.
Yeah, 50% of the way there, aren't we, mate?
That's right.
knocked a few thousand of them in, mate.
I have indeed. The 10,000 rule.
Perfect. All done?
All done.
Let's have some lunch.
Ready to rock and roll.